Handout 3, as a reminder, after we're done with the lesson, your graded assignment is the homework 3. Okay, so make sure your name is on both papers. This is talking about a science class that has the students are measuring a flask, and the flask has each of the masses of the flasks have different amounts of liquid in them, okay? And each of them weighs 40 grams when they're empty. So they're saying like by itself, the flask is 40 pounds, 40 grams, my bad, okay? But when below the various masses of each flask, below are the various masses of each flask in the liquid inside. So you can see where they're showing the line where the liquid is. There's a different grams, okay? And then it says how many grams of liquid are in each flask. So if an empty flask is 40, then how much liquid is in this flask? For A. No, 60 grams, including the empty flask, which is 40.
20 grams of water.
20 grams? Did you see why I said 20? Because the empty is 40, and with the liquid, it becomes 60. So without the empty flask, the actual liquid is 20. Then how much is B? 40, because we're taking out the empty grams of the empty flask, and what remains is 40 grams of liquid. Okay, somebody else? Somebody else? How much is C? 60. So 60 plus 40 is 120? How much should it be? We got to take off the empty.
100.
Okay, so 100 plus 40 is 120. You got to take off the empty. And what remains from this? You can, on your paper, write this down and take off the empty.
Teachers and students, please pardon this interruption.
80 grams, okay? How do we figure out the number of grams of liquid? What do we have to do? What do y'all have to do each time?
Subtract.
Yeah, subtract. Okay. Now, we're doing additive relationships, so the way this is going to work is if it's an additive, there may be some times we have to do the inverse, which is what? What is the inverse of add? Subtract, yeah. So remember, with additive, it could be adding or subtracting. Write that down. So let's get into the lesson of learning what the difference between the difference between additive relationship is, because we're not doing multiplicative. So everything with this has to do with either adding or what? Subtracting, yes. Okay. All right, highlighters out. The additive relationship can be described by the equation y equals x plus a. Y equals x plus a. Do you notice that this is kind of like the multiplicative equation, but it's different because instead of multiplying, we're doing what? Instead of multiplying, what are we doing? Yeah. Yes, it's adding or subtracting, okay? So y equals x plus a. Now the y is going to represent the output or the answer. So anytime they ask you for the y equals, they probably want you to use this to find out what the y actually equals. Sometimes they may give it different letters in the table, but we always know that it's always x, y in order. Okay, so the x represents the input. This is no different than what we were doing with multiplicative. The biggest change is going to come right now when we talk about what the a represents. Okay, the a represents the constant. Now, I've used constant before with multiplier when we did the multiplicative. But I was using it in the sense that constant meaning that it was, meaning that it was always the same number that we're multiplying by. In this case, with the additive relationship, this is a mathematical term, constant, that means a number that stands by itself with no variables next to it. When I say no variables next to it, I mean like this right here, plus 5 or minus 5, those are constants. If it was, if it was instead like plus 5a, that's not a constant. That's a term. And we talked about terms in the past as well. So it's a number that stands by itself without any letters attached to it, okay? Plus or minus. So the a value, here it is, right here is the most important, will always remain the same in order to be considered an additive relationship. It's always going to remain the same. Highlight that. So you always add the same number to get number to x to get to y. So the very first thing we want to do, we're going to look at these tables, and it says, in the tables below, complete the process column to determine the constant. They're asking us to complete this to determine the constant, and then write the equation in the form of y equals x plus a. So we're going to find the constant, which is the number that's going to show us what's going to be the same, and then we're going to write out the equation. And the only thing that's going to change with the equation is we got to say what the constant is. Pay attention, because this is the most important part. I'm still watching some of y'all not pay attention. Okay? So first thing we do is we write down input, because we got to remind ourselves that input is the x and the output is the y. You need something? You need something? Okay. The output is the y. Now, we first want to look at the x and say, what's going on here?
Good morning, teachers and
We'll look at the x. So I think what we really want to pay attention to is from the x to the y, what's happening? What do you see that's happening? From 0 to 3, then 3 to 3, then 4 to 7, 5 to 8, 6 to 9. What's happening? What is the pattern? What's happening with your answers? What's happening? What number are we noticing? 3. What's happening from the x to the y? Is it minus 3 or plus 3?
Plus 3.
So if we write 0 plus 3, and this right here is my constant, if this is true with the equation, that means I can put plus 3 on all of these. Because it says that you always add the same number to the x to get the y. So I'm going to add the 3 to this x, and it hopefully it's going to give me the y. Oh, does it? Did 3 plus 3 give us 6? Pay attention, okay? So to help yourself remember this, go ahead and put equal signs by those, because that's what you're trying to do. You're trying to add x and the constant together to get you to the y, all right? So now, what am I going to write down here? 4 plus what? 3, thank you. What's the next one? Come on. 5 plus 3, thank you. Then the next one.
6 plus 3.
6 plus 3. Always, write this down, look for, oh, that's an R, sorry. Patterns. Math is full of patterns, okay? Do your little eyeballs. I want you to always look for patterns. Because when you see the patterns, it's probably there for a reason, and that's going to help you solve your problems faster. Okay, next. Oh, am I leaving something out? What did I leave out? Now, this is a capital A, but they're saying it as a little a, but it doesn't matter. You can put a little a there. What is the constant? 3. Thank you, Jose. What is the equation? Y equals x, what else? X what now? Oh, I'm just going to put a 3 next to the x? Thank you, Cameron. Cameron, you over there going hard. You want you want pineapple? You want some pineapple? Come on over here. Bless you. Now, here's the second chance. Don't look at me. Look up there. So, first thing I need to look at is I need to look for a pattern. Oh, no, I need to write down what? What I need to write down with my tables. What 2 words? Input, thank you. Jessica, okay. Thank you, Cameron. I love when y'all pay attention. Okay, so now I gotta look at a pattern here. I'm looking just to see if something's going on here, and the numbers are random. Now I'm looking this way, and I'm trying to figure out what is happening from 0 to 7. So I can, the first one you can always start with what's happening there, and then see if it happens for the next one. What's happening? What did you say, Jordan? What about 7? 0 plus 7? Okay, what about, do I know if it's, do I need to test it for another one? Okay, what's the next one? 2 plus 7, okay. 5 plus 7. 9 plus, no, 10 plus 7? That looks like 18, that's a 10. Okay. So what is the A? What did I forget? Oh, man, I'm glad you caught that because we need to remember to put the equal sign. Come here, Jordan. You want pineapple? I got you. Okay, let's keep going. What's the equation? Oh, Taurus, look at you. Y'all got to jump high, okay? All right, let's keep going. Okay, now, all right, now you know what they're going to do, just like with the multiplicative. They're going to leave information out, and they want y'all to try to figure things out as well. So they didn't give us a graph, okay, but they did give us something over here. So we're trying to see if we're going to be adding or subtracting. Let's see. What keyword can we see that's going to let us know we're going to be adding? The industrial tech teacher told his class to add, oh, look at there, highlight add. Add 2. Ooh, I wonder if that 2 is going to be my constant. What do y'all think? Maybe. I love that. So over here, so if that's the case, let's just give it a shot. What would the equation be if add 2 is going to be our constant? Y equals what?
That. X plus.
Is that right? We're going to set this here. We're going to see if that's going to work, okay? Now, over here, we're going to just put the length, keep up with me, of the project. And then over here, we're going to put total length.
I can't see that.
Sorry. Thank you for telling me. And then I'm going to put X, and I'm going to put Y, and I'm also going to put output. I'm going to put input, wait. Output. I'm going to put input.
Is that J for project?
Yeah, P is LENGTH, project, and then total length. Is that correct? Did I do everything right?
Yeah.
Are you sure? What's wrong?
Oh, you forgot your Y.
No, I got my Y.
Oh.
No? What's wrong with the input and output? Did you hear what Taurus said? He said that input and output is backwards because the input and output are supposed to be in alphabetical order. I did that on purpose. I sure did. Quiet hands. I need y'all paying attention. Taurus, I got you. On the way out, I got you, okay? Now, so if this is true, I mean, I can go ahead and put 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then I can now start adding the equation. Let me scoot this over just a little bit, or I need to just back it down so I can see the Y equals X plus 2. There we go. So this is telling me, all right, so now if this is true, if the equation that I've written says I got to add 2 to all my X's to get my Y, okay, I'm just going to sneak this in here because I'm going to remind myself that it's equals Y. So whatever I'm going to do to that 1, it's got to be the same for all the other numbers. So 1 plus what? 2? It's gonna give me what?
3,
All right, and then 2 plus what? 2 is gonna give me what?
4,
Okay, and then 3 plus what?
2,
2 is gonna give me what? Are y'all writing this down so you can see that this is a constant? 4 plus what? 2 is gonna give me what? 6. 5 plus 2? 7. Now I can just graph it, if this is true. So my x's, my ordered pairs, let's just do this right quick. 1, comma 3, 2, comma 4, 3, comma 5, oops, 4, comma 6, and then 5, comma 7, okay? Highlight your constant because that can help you remember that. I like that. I like this little system. And remember, math is full of patterns. It's full of patterns. So let's go ahead and graph this. 1 across. Uh-oh, look at my x, my y's. Hold on, x, y, okay? Look at this. These are numbers that are right on the line in order, but these are skip counting by what? So what should that tell you about what's between 0 and 2? What's between 0 and 2? What's between 0 and 2? 1. Okay, so let's go down here. So you don't get confused, just put little, ones in the tick marks between them so you can keep up with that. That'll help you stay organized, because you may have some odd numbers, okay? All right, so let's do this. 1 across, 3 up. You see how you had to put that little, did I make a mistake?
yes.
What's my mistake? Oh, well, that is true. I did forget to put the origin. Thank you. All right. All right, so let's keep going. 1, 3. Next one is 2, 4. Go across 2. Go up to 4. Because our goal is to make a straight what? Line. Okay, yeah. And then 3, 5. 3 across. Ooh, I got to be careful with that 5. Here's 3. 5 is right in the middle between that 4 and that 6. Okay, that's good. And then I got 4, 6. 4 across, 6 up. Ooh, it looked like that line's gonna be straight. And then I got 5, comma 7, go across 5. I gotta be careful because that 7's in the middle of the line. If you don't make a straight line, that means that you've done something wrong with your ordered pairs, okay? Now listen, we have to stop here, but we'll pick up tomorrow. Listen. We're going to pick up tomorrow with the y equals x plus 2. We're going to come up with an equation. Y'all pay attention. And then your homework, turn the paper over. Turn the paper over. Make sure your name is written on it. It's only going to be 4 problems, but each of the problems you can't just answer quickly. You're going to have to do the same thing we're doing. You got to analyze them and make sure you're doing them right. Okay? Did y'all learn a lot today?
Yep.
Awesome. Thank you.